Hi everybody, Randy Sherman from Watertown Street Rods. I'm here today with my brother Mike Sherman for another edition of
What's in My Garage?
We're here looking at 1971 Nova SS car, correct?
Correct. SS 4-speed car.
With a factory 350.
Yep. Came with a factory 350 with a 330 horse with a bench seat in it. No air, no electric windows, anything. Basic hot rod car from the factory.
Very, very nice. Beautiful color blue. You want to touch base on rims and tires?
They're well V-series. The back ones have to be custom ordered, dual bead locks, and the front ones are basically off the shelf from Summit or Jegs. The rear end was narrowed. We mini tubbed this car, and it's a Fab 9 rear end. And we kept the leaf springs on it, Caltrac leaf spring system. And everything fits nice under there, but it's tight.
Now with mini tubs, how wide a tire can you get on that?
We can get 12-inch tire in there, tread. Those are 1350, and that's measured to the sidewall.
Nice. Let's check out the interior.
Originally came with a bench seat, like I said. We ran the bench seat in it for a while, and we decided to put some carbon fiber bucket seats in there just to lighten the car up a little bit.
Carbon fiber. How light are those?
4 pounds.
4 pounds.
The rest of the interior's pretty much all original. We added a cage in it to strengthen up the chassis of the car. So the door's still closed after a hard hit. Some cars flex a lot if you don't support the frame of them, especially on a unibody type vehicle.
So you said factory 4-speed car originally. Now that shifter's something else. Is that still a 4-speed?
Yes, it's a 4-speed. The shifter is a copy of the Mr. Gasket V-Gate shifter. And these are made by long shifters, and just way better design than the old Mr. Gasket V-Gates.
Now that's different transmission too.
The transmission's basically a Muncie 4-speed, but there's nothing Muncie 4-speed about it. They're made by Auto Gear in Syracuse, New York. It's their case and their whole design. Looks like a Muncie 4-speed, and it sounds like a Muncie 4-speed, but it's a lot stronger. And we added a dual disc McLeod clutch system to it, and we do have a slipper type pedal in it to slip the clutch a little bit if you needed it to get off the line a little bit better.
Now when we were younger, I used to ride with you quite a bit before I even had a driver's license, and you kind of taught me what speed shifting was all about. You think you're still as fast as you were back then?
Of course I am. I was going to go with a Trimec 5-speed in this car, and when they told me you had to lift to shift it, I went the other way back to the Auto Gear. You don't have to lift in this thing, and it's good to 6,500. No lift, and you hold it right down and just jam the next gear, and it goes. You got to be pointing the steering wheel in the right position or the right angle.
So back in the day, back when I was still young again, there was few guys out there that could really shift a 4-speed shifter. And Mike was one, Chuck Snyder was one, Pat Lawrence was one, Terry Smith was one. Those guys could really go through the gears on a 4-speed transmission.
As you get more power though, it makes it a lot harder because you got to be right on top of it. Once you shift one gear, you got to go ready to go right to the next and then to the next when you get more power. You know, in the old days, you had a little bit of a pause to go from one gear to the other. But this one right here, it's like I said, you got to be steering it in the right direction because it's ready. And once you get in one gear, you got to go right to the next. Under full throttle. Under full throttle.
And horsepower too. I mean, back in the day, you had a small block 350 with a mild cam in it. You know, cast iron heads and nitrous oxide. It was a little easier shifting that than a 700 horsepower big block.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to that. First we'll touch base on this hood, okay? This is aluminum hood. You don't see very many of those. In fact, I don't even think you can get them anymore.
You can't. I got one of the last ones.
All aluminum hood. Very, very nice. You gotta be very careful leaning on it or lifting
American
it.
metal made them, got them probably from Taiwan or someplace, and they're real expensive. And with carbon fiber coming out, they just decided that the carbon fibers are probably going to sell more than aluminum, so they discontinued them. But I got one of the last ones, and it's a real nice fit. Everybody tries to buy this hood from me. It's a real nice hood.
Look at the hood hinges. Look at those.
On a Nova, they come with a metal hood hinge with a big spring on it, kind of ugly looking. And you can buy them chromed, but at the same time I was putting this car together, they came out with these billet hood hinges from Eddie Motorsports. And I got one of the first sets off the shelf of them when I was building the car.
Now, I don't know if everybody out there is familiar with Pat Musi, which they should be. Mainly from Street Outlaws, right?
No, Pat Musi was a drag racer from way back. Street racer, then drag racer. He's 7-time pro stock champion. And he's, I don't want to say local, he's from New York. And he just had a name, and he had an engine shop. He built all his own engines. So Pat and Vic Eldebrock came out with this design right here to sell for the street guys. Where you can go to the strip with it, but you can still drive it on the street. And I called Pat up, talked to him for a while, actually a couple times, and I decided to go with his build here. And went right to his shop and picked it up off the dyno.
Now, you could originally order one of these engines right from Summit, correct?
Yeah, him and Vic Eldebrock had them available from Summit and Jags and some other places too.
That great engine.
But I feel like I got the Pat Musi touch on this one because I bought it right from him and he was building it right for me. And I told him what I was going to do. I was going to run a 4-speed. Most guys run automatics. And I talked to him, told him what I was going to do with it. I was going to drive on the street with it about 90% and maybe go to the strip 10% of the time. And it was a nice package. And geez, I got probably 35 to 4,500 miles, street miles on it now, and it's still perfect.
I see got tubular A-arms in here. Is that like a aftermarket deal?
Now I researched different front frames. This is a unibody construction, and I was gonna the frame that was in the car was pretty rough looking. So instead of spending a lot of time sandblasting and powder coating, I thought I'd just buy a whole complete front end, and I just went crazy with it. It's Speed Tech, and there's several other designs.